Tonight, the cause of a malfunctioning landing gear is still unknown. The investigation into that continues tonight after a flight from Atlanta made an emergency landing at Charlotte Douglas International without its nose gear. Thanks for joining us for the News at 11. I'm Vanessa Rufus.
And I'm Colin Mayfield. A harrowing situation for the more than 100 people on board that plane. Thankfully, everyone made it off safely. But the big question still tonight, what happened? We're going to get to that in a couple of minutes. But first, check out these videos of the runway. On your left, the conditions now. Planes are arriving and departing like normal after that plane was finally cleared.
And you see the footage there on your right. That's the plane stranded on the tarmac just hours earlier. Other flights were diverted to other runways while crews worked to remove the plane, and passengers had to take buses to get to the terminal. WCNC Charlotte has been following the story from the start, so let's take you back to the beginning so you have all of the information we do. Delta Flight 1092 departed Atlanta this morning at 7:30. The crew became aware of the problem when the plane approached Charlotte Douglas. Now take a listen here to this clip of the pilot contacting air traffic control.
I have a nose wheel unsafe indication. We're going to have to go ahead and declare an emergency.
And here's an animated map of that flight plan for 1092. The pilot, as you can see, starts to circle above the airport. During this call, the pilot confirms to air traffic control that the plane has about 50 minutes of fuel left.
So as we mentioned, more than 100 souls were on board. And you can check out this footage on board the actual plane as passengers brace for the landing. Some striking video here. Our crews spoke with a couple of these individuals that were on the plane. The moments leading to that landing tonight, they are thankful everyone is okay.
Initially, we were going down to land and we got maybe 30, 50 feet from the runway, and then the pilot sped up and kind of took off again. He didn't want to land, and so that kind of was like the first sign of like, oh, something must be pretty wrong. And so as we come back around for the second time, I think everybody kind of set in a little bit more, and everybody's kind of looking around like, oh, what's actually the problem here?
The flight attendants came around, and I was actually in the exit row. So then they came and told us how we would possibly have to open the door and help get people out. But it ended up that we didn't have to go out the exit doors. He was able to land safely.
Delta releasing a statement saying, in part, while this was a rare occurrence, Delta flight crews train extensively to safely manage through many scenarios, and Flight 1092 landed safely without any reported injuries.
And tonight we are getting a much better picture of the difficulty in landing Flight 1092. Patrick Lavenholm, a flight instructor in the Charlotte area, explained it takes years of training to land a plane like this.
Yeah, thankfully he took some time with us tonight. He says not only is it extremely difficult, but pilots can't necessarily train for a specific situation like this.
And it's kind of what we all dread, but there's no simulator session that does this. There's no like task that training necessarily prepares you for. But if I had a choice on all three wheels, like out of the two main gear and the nose wheel, I'd want the nose wheel every day, because otherwise it's a normal landing, and a pilot hates to hear the metal of the airplane crunch against the ground.
So Lavenholm says the nose landing gear is a critical piece of equipment using a forward retraction design and can act as a fail-safe in the event of hydraulic pressure loss. The nose landing gear is not reliant on hydraulic pressure, which makes this incident interesting in the terms of the ongoing investigation. So as we said, we've been covering all angles of this story from the beginning. When it happened this morning, Vanessa, you've been breaking down some of the discoveries that our Verify team found.
Yeah, that's right, Colin. So we just heard that Delta statement saying that this is a pretty rare occurrence. Our Verify team's Megan Bragg wanted to look into the prevalence of incidents and accidents in general involving flights at Charlotte Douglas, just to see how common or infrequent these situations are. Over 10 years of FAA data, we found 16 incidents with commercial airliners. So we're talking incidents in general, bird strikes, medical incidents that required a return to the airport, malfunctions of some sort with the plane. Knowing CLT is one of the top 10 most traveled airports in the country, we also wanted to put those numbers into perspective by comparing to other busy airports. So keep in mind 16 incidents over the last 10 years at CLT. We checked with Hartsfield-Jackson in Atlanta. That is almost double Charlotte's passengers, but only 3 incidents in the past decade. We also, however, looked at JFK International in New York, and we saw a more comparable number with 15 incidents. If you do want to read Megan's full report, we do have that online. This QR code can actually take you there, but you can see in general, relatively infrequent considering how many flights have actually taken off and landed from these busy airports over the last 10 years.